connector, everybody TV, yeah, say kasi, everybody kasi, I connector, everybody TV, yeah, say kasi, everybody kasi, I connector, everybody TV, yeah, say kasi, everybody kasi, I connector, everybody TV, yeah, say kasi, hola, my friends, hola, my gang, hola, my baby, Tumela, Kaufela, Kohai, young ones, old ones, welcome back, my friends, Kasi Connect TV, we appreciate you taking the time to join us again. We had to start the show on a high note, you know. Shout out Mr. Puga Two Shoes, this is just Kasi, people that put Kasi on the map. Yeah, we are back live, Spete, with Mr. SK, aka Shemp. How you doing today, Mr. AK?
I a lot of mumishes, a lot of actually a lot happened during the past 2 weeks.
Right.
So yeah, we're looking forward. Yeah, it's been a great week, although I have to say, yeah.
Above it all, it's been a great week. I agree with that. It's been hectic. Mr. Press, when you
I'm good, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, Mr. SK just said, yo, what a week. Wow. I know, wow. Yeah. So, oh, we know WOW. What a week. Like WAW. What a week. So much went down. A lot of things happened on the national level and on the regional Kasi level. So today we're on the show, Mr. SK, we're going to be looking at a couple of breaking news. We had what do you need? You okay?
It's fine.
Okay, now we were just sorting out some technical issues out on the show here. Yeah, so like we said, first of all, hey guys, like we said, thank you very much for watching the show. We want to encourage you to like and subscribe. Give us your support because we need to put Kasi News on the map so that everybody can see what's going on out here and join the movement and join the revolution. Yeah. So this week, Fetu SK, we had big news. We had the president announce the national elections. Yeah. We had the budget speech, guys. We had SOPA, the state of the province address. We had announcements on unemployment numbers, unemployment rate. We had, like I see, a teacher in Toza bring drugs to a school. We had load shedding in Pimville and emergency services and e-hailing rides not coming into certain classes. So we're going to cover a lot of things on the show. And let's not waste any time. Get straight into it. Yeah, well, so let's start off with the biggest news, very obviously. President Ramaphosa has announced the date for the national elections. I think it's the 7th democratic elections in Zanzibar.
I think so.
I'm not sure. 7th or 8th. If you've got the correct facts, please let us know because we don't want to spread wrong information out there to the people, right? So I think, Mr. Chairman, this is the 8th or 7th democratic elections, and it's the 30th year. We are under the leadership of African natives, black-led, elected leaders of South Africa, and the population there's a lot of us. There's a lot of us, not only Makasi, Nasemakaya, all over the country. There's 60 million people, and voter registration is closed. If we ask, when the president announces my elections, the date, he has to gazette the thing, and once it's gazetted, voter registration is. So I think voter registration closed yesterday night.
Yes.
And yeah, with 60 million people, we know that there has been, I was looking at the stats, and I think there's 27 million registered voters. I just don't have it.
Yeah, it's 27 million.
Yeah, 27.5 million registered voters. And of that 27.5 million, we have, I think, about 6 million. Let me just make sure.
And ANC is about 35% of the vote.
6 million, I wanted to say 6 million voters from registered voters from Gauteng. And that's a growth of about 4%, 4.5%. When I'm focus on lazy, not just national, I want us to focus on lazy as a Sekasa numbers because those are the ones that affect us the most. And like you say, the ANC must be happy there because I'm a voters will determine where this country is going. Voting is important in the sense that that's the only time as abantu baseKasi they're giving us an opportunity to get involved in and have a say in the future of our country, in the future of our Kasis. Because a lot of the time, we shout from the rooftops, but they don't hear us. You know, we're trying to do initiatives like Kasi Connect TV and get them to see the fact that, you know, we want progression, we want to move up, but it's not happening. So I don't know. What do you think about that? What do you think about all of these things?
Well, I mean, personally, I think the one good thing that's going to happen is that we'll be able to hold these guys accountable. Pity that not an overwhelming majority of South Africans understand politics. That's the sad part. People are just voting there for the t-shirt, voting there for food parcels, for the 350 and so on and so on.
I was talking to somebody, by the way, somebody that we both know, and he said, oh no, I don't want to talk politics because she's or something like that. I don't want to mention anybody. Guys, you know, we're all together. You know who you are. I love you, my nigga. But we were talking about the same things that we're talking about right now. So, but I was like, the problem is when we talk about politics as a people, a nation, we put our emotions, and it's hard not to get emotional. I can understand about topics like this because I mean, they talk to life matters of the heart. Life and death level for you. So politics is sensitive, and I can understand why sometimes you are afraid to step into that zone. But we need to cultivate a safe space between us as gents to be able to have these kinds of conversations. So I appreciate the fact that you're raising there about the lack of political engagement and consciousness in our country, which is flopped at it. Because if you check the history of Chubafuetu, look at the leaders that fought in the apartheid days. Those were politically conscious. There were so many movements that were
even the youth,
and at school level, man. We had Sanko, we had everybody getting involved and, you know, really passionate about having a say. And now that we do have a say, I can understand that we're disappointed because the negative stereotypes about the gas as Peli, they're always there, but we're trying to change it, and this is your opportunity. So thank you to everybody that went out there and registered, because it's important that we vote, whether you vote or you don't vote. And if I will register, that doesn't mean that you're not important, because I've been there before myself. I honestly admit there were times when I didn't believe in democracy and I didn't believe in
I remember that. I used to engage you, and then you'd be like, no, this and that.
My guy, I just felt like it was a lie. It was an illusion. Instinctively, I didn't even have the critical thinking at that time to analyze the politics, but I felt like they're just selling us a dream. And I was also one of those disillusioned voters. But I've come to realize it's important that we engage. You know, so thank you to the 27.5 million people who went out to vote. And then if you didn't, still get involved, still put pressure. Promises, still talk to the people, because I'll say earlier, we can't get rid of you. South Africa. No, it's a democratic country. If you want to exercise your right in that way, we're disappointed, we're not happy, but it's your right, we respect you. So we sub forward and we want to include you in the conversation. So get involved and tell us why we're now. What has caused you to go there, and what must happen which was about convinced you to feel like the democratic process, because we all feel so at times. And then I was just looking at the numbers in Jayam, and then it said that this is the first time ever, very important thing, we have independent candidates. We have more than, I think, 4.5 new parties, 450 new parties or something like that. I don't know how many of them are going to end up on the ballot. And for the first time, we're going to be using our ballot 3. So we're going to do a clear episode, explaining voter registration, guys. But what do you think about that, Mr. Shembe? How are you feeling about the fact that, and how are you guys feeling about the fact that we're going to be voting on 3 ballot papers? There's a regional vote, there's a provincial vote, and then there's obviously the vote for national office. So what's your mood?
Okay. This is from, I don't know whether is it a biased opinion, but I'm saying this from a point of view of a black consciousness adherent. I think it just clusters, not clusters, clutters the vote all over the place, right? And in that instance, it only it favors the elite, because you must remember how many political parties do we have that are funded by the so-called elite, and then that also means now whether you're voting for whichever party also you vote, all of that vote still comes back to one block, which is the ANC vote, right? So
there's no, what you're saying is there's no
basically all of those people there, they don't have balls.
Exactly, radical. I wanted to say radical. I wanted to say
they won't have a say.
Exactly. I wanted to say that radical leadership, active, energized.
Yeah. By the way, Tutuzane is an independent as well.
I saw that.
I saw his constitution.
But he's a radical, so I mean, maybe for me,
I don't feel he's a radical.
Okay.
Tutuzane is liberal.
Liberal.
Yeah. Because I think on one of his interviews, he stated that when it comes to the issue of land, you'll have to buy.
Everybody has to buy.
No, yeah, it's not that matter with what's that slogan? Say RAT. Without compensation.
What's that? How can we forget it now? You know it. I need challenge that. Land. What without compensation?
Yes. Yeah. So he basically is against that.
Yeah.
So he's more of a businessman.
I think he's more of the mold of the established parties.
Yes.
Because he's got a little bit of
totally different from his father.
Yeah.
Totally different from his father.
Even with us here, I think that's where me and you also differ, because I'm a little bit just socially, my upbringing.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit even on that side of conservatism and liberalism.
Yes.
I'm not gonna shy away, guys. We have to be able to.
South African Donald Trump, eh?
I'm a little bit of a not exactly to that level, but I feel like we need progressive. We need to work together because it's 2024.
Yeah.
South Africa is made up of so many different nations, races, and states, right? So I feel like in the current time, in the current democratic time, we have to find a way. It's much like the ANC found a way to, like you're saying, work with, even though they have more power than us, because the truth be told, we want to get to a position where power distribution is a little bit closer, because none has been faced. South Africa is faced with unemployment, inequality, poverty, especially amongst the black natives, and we make up 80% of the people that live here. I don't even know who's like us. How many of
just a quick question again, eh?
Go ahead.
From your liberal perspective, conservative,
slightly.
Yeah.
I like to consider myself social liberal, whereby I have socialist values, but I also have liberal values. So socialist and liberal values are more a little bit of the left and a little bit of the right, because I'm a black person and I come from discriminatory or unjust, I don't know if I want to call it unjust or discriminatory kind of backgrounds where we didn't have access to opportunities and such. So I very much am a firm believer in that, but I'm also a believer that we need free market systems. We need yes.
Yeah, but okay, so sorry to cut you there.
Sure.
So my question was, my views which are very liberal. Let's say, I think about 3 years ago, we were sitting on over 55% of natives that live under the poverty line. So when you talk those business terms, okay, it must be inclusive and so on and so on and so on. What happens to the 55% already lingering in poverty? So that's my general understanding of the new conservative politics, to say that they don't have a solution for what we are already facing. Landlessness and so on, inclusion into the economy. So that's what I would like to know from the experience or what's your take on it?
Look, I also believe that there is a lot of injustice and there's still a lot of because we are where we are today because of the history. If you look at the history of South Africa as a country, the concept of South Africa, it started in 1657 when foreign people started coming into, because we were not called South Africa. And we were just living the way we were supposed to live, and then what happened was, over the course of 1600 to now, maybe 1600, 17, 18, 1900, 400 years or so, we have come to a place where the power dynamics, and then we found ourselves in a position where we are the majority, but we are subservient to another race. And now as people have developed and as we've come to a greater life and a greater way of being, Sithola in a situation where we have to live with each other. No man is an island. Black people can't live alone, Lana, Mzansi, or white people can't live alone. We need each other. And even though there's been wrong things that have happened in the past, I am a firm believer in mercy. I believe that some of the people that are alive today, some of the young people that are alive today, were not there. Yes, maybe they have been influenced and socialized to believe in the way that they believe, but they were not there, and we can't really hold them at fault for the things that happened in the past. But we can work together if they are really willing. If we want to break free of the mental slavery and the chains that have segregated us, and the physical, geographic places that have segregated us. If we want to break free of that, then we have to find ways of sitting at a table and having discussions, because to grow you have to have discussions with your enemy, unless we want to go back to a state where somebody has to get destroyed. And I'm not a believer in that. I'm a believer in the fact that everybody has a life to a fair chance. Everybody has the right to dignity, everybody has the right to be the best that they can be. So yes, I want us to have more opportunity to have access to land, and I want those who have the means to production and to land to come to the table and talk to us. But if we're gonna go there and we're gonna by hook or by crook, I feel like that strategy is just gonna not work in our favor. But that's just my opinion of it. I also believe sometimes, and I can hear the argument that people that say, we need radical intervention, because as things are going, the capitalist system is not working for us as a nation. It is designed for us to fail, but we can work within that system to make things better, because there are things in the capitalist and in the free market system that are good for us. I mean, we have these platforms and these things that are enabling us. These things are based in other countries and in the servers and the technology that affords us the ability to speak to anybody anywhere in the world. They're based in these places whereby we may not necessarily agree on a principal level or on a political ideological level, but if we can find ways of working with each other, then it would be better. Where I do agree with you is in the sense that the current leadership and the current structure is failing us, because they've become greedy. They've become greedy. Everybody who's in politics right now, for me, is a little bit greedy.
From youth league.
Yeah, everywhere, on every side. In the 30 years, I hadn't found a home where I feel like, okay, I can agree with you in how you approach and you do things, because the blue, the red, the green, there are many things that I personally didn't really relate to in their manifestos and in the way that they approach things. But I feel like these independents, some of them, and even some of the political parties that have come into the space, I can hear them, but I'm skeptical, because politics is politics. At the end of the day, we know with them, they don't care about us.
Yeah,
So,
well, from my end, there is no other way except for confrontation, except for us pressing that restart button. And unfortunately, it's not going to sit well with the liberals or the conservative, because obviously they think that there's a system that's already working. It's just
the
a matter
status
of
quo, everybody's relaxed.
Exactly.
The rich are getting richer.
Yes.
Just on that, maybe just to transition into another thing that happened this week, and we can continue the conversation. We had the unemployment rate numbers announced, guys. It's shocking, my guy. So I can hear the people that speak about that argument. I can't completely dismiss it, because I live in it and I see it. And me and you, people from the Kasi, know how it is to be on the margins of economic activity, to be sidelined, to have to struggle to get a piece of bread, just to be able for the day and just to eat for the day. It's a problem for many of black people in South Africa. So I hear that argument that says we gotta kick the door down. Yeah. But I'm not a believer in that. That's just me. Let us know how you feel. And I wanted to give you the numbers for the unemployment in South Africa. My guy, South Africa's unemployment has gone up by, if they don't consider people who have given up looking for work.
Myself and Preston.
If you don't consider those people, unemployment has gone up by 32% to 32.1%, If you include those who gave up looking for, if I include you and Preston, those who gave up completely in looking for work, it's 41%.
Yeah.
41% of people aged 15 to 64
active.
who are have the potential to go to work. And it's funny how they put these things, because they'll say 15 to 64. We all know very well that it's probably higher, because people over the age of 64 are working. We just have to look at our parliament to see that people over the age of 64 are working, and people under the age of 18 are most likely not working because they're at school and all of these kinds of things. So what you find is there's a lot more people that are unemployed than that 41%. And South Africa has 60 million people. If we take away the 20% that is children and the few percentage of old people, we're left with about 40 million, maybe 30 something million people. Now if 41% of those people are not working, and 80%, by the way, 80% of South Africa is comprised of black people. If 40%, and it's mostly black people that are not working, in the 10 years, look at this, listen to this number. In the 10 years, we have doubled the number of unemployed South Africans. In 2013, it was 4.8 million. Now in 2023, it's 7.9 million. And 77.1% of these people are youth. And we know for a fact that these youths are probably stuck in a township, are probably somewhere sitting like us, are probably somewhere. I don't even want to touch the case of those in the rural areas, guys. It's even worse there. It's just that I don't live there, so I don't have that experience. But a lot of us are unemployed. We're sitting we're sitting in our houses. We don't have things to do. So what are the solutions, Mr. Chambi? Like, how do we, looking at the fact that we're going into votes, like, how do you feel that the people that you have faith in, that they can come into the picture, they can change the radical? What do you feel that must be done to address this kind of thing? Because we know for a fact now, which unemployment means there needs to be jobs. And where do the jobs come from?
Yeah. So, basically, what I believe should happen is, number one, take back the economy. Because at the moment we are sitting there watching Abu Rupert and his friends. They're the only ones that are active in the economy.
How do you, that's the question that I have.
You nationalize the Reserve Bank.
Okay.
You build a state-owned bank. And then from there, all mines belong to the state. So there was a few years ago, Umsebenziswana introduced a bill, mining bill, that spoke to issues of saying whatever is underneath
mineral resources.
Exactly, we must share. Yes. So a certain percentage of those would also go to the community, or either, let's say, Abantu South Africa. So, because currently these foreign companies, they don't even pay taxes. I think about Tati Gold, open Tati Diamond, Alpha Airport, without paying tax.
We've tried that before. If you look at it in the history, we tried that
when
before.
Was it?
When we were fighting for the land in 17, 18, early 1800s, right? When they discovered gold, and there were wars between European masses and other Europeans. We had Anglo-Boer wars. We had wars between Zulu peoples and Skukunes people and Boers and English, and we came out on the losing side. So I feel like if you come into the table as a hostile, I'm negotiating. It's like if I'm negotiating with somebody who has everything and I have nothing, and I come to you and I say, look, you found me here, I want you to give me 50% of whatever you have. I'm just playing the devil's advocate here, guys. Don't think that I'm advocating for anything. I'm just here to...
The fight was not for the gold.
Yeah.
The fight was for the
land.
Yes.
Yes.
And also, what we shouldn't forget is that black people never commodified things. Land for us was not a commodity. It was just a must.
A resource.
Man. Utumza must have land, Preston must have land, so and so. But then
They shifted us.
Why people started common
Into
fight
classes.
exactly.
They shifted us and they created over the years the system where now we're stuck in very small areas and there's a lot of us and there's a lot of other people.
And we must
I don't
content.
want
We must be content of that.
No, not necessarily content. I don't think
according to
content.
them.
No. I don't want to speak for any race, guys. Please be clear. This is we're having a discussion here.
Yeah.
We're putting the pros and the cons, and we're trying to analyze what's the best solution for Tina as a class. So what I'm looking at from is you can't really come to it. We have nothing at the moment. When we come in, we're knocking. We're always asking for stuff. And if I'm coming and I want to already see the system is set up. It's been set up for us to fail, young child. The mines, when we got democratic freedom in 1994, they didn't give us the mines.
No.
They didn't give us the land.
No.
They didn't give us. They only gave us political power. So if you want to usurp economic power using political force, I don't know if that's successful. But please, while we're talking, let us know, guys, in the comments. What do you think? What do you think are the solutions? We want solutions more than anything, and we're not sitting somewhere not willing to shift. We want to grow. So I don't know how we do that, because I can come in and say, I can hear the people that say, let's nationalize. But if we nationalize, we're going to find ourselves like Abu Cuba and Abu...
What's wrong with Cuba?
Nah, you want to stay in Cuba?
Cuba is functional.
Let me ask you, you want to stay in Cuba or you want to stay in America?
No, I wouldn't go to America. I mean, I'm sharp.
No, I'm just
I would go to Cuba.
Not to stay in America for the lifestyle or for the culture. I'm talking about the access to. We're talking about access now to economic opportunities, to jobs, to resources, to the things that make life in urban society.
I'll go to Cuba.
You'd rather go to Cuba?
Yeah.
But there's nothing in Cuba. We know the truth, man.
No, okay. I think maybe the way of living, maybe we differ there, because let's say, for instance, Cuba, an overwhelming majority, they've got access to healthcare, free healthcare.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's true. I think that's true. That's really true.
Free education and so on and so on. So it's for the masses.
But
so is
the Cuban nation moving up in terms of global politics and global power?
Who determines who has moved up or who deserves?
We all know.
It's the Americans.
It's the West.
Americans. Exactly, the West. Let's say the West.
No.
So same thing that South Africa applies.
Yes.
South Africa is only performing if they are doing what the West wants. Immediately once South Africa starts shifting, then Siso downgrade or you remember what happened under Zuma?
All of these things.
But in the church, what?
Hey, my guy, it was hectic. So
yeah.
Even the fact that unemployment is high and the problems that we have with energy supply in South Africa, the problems that we have with the rail and things, we know that. But we cannot absolve the political responsibility that these people they came in there and for whatever reason misused their power. Our leaders, we can't exempt our leaders just because they are black from responsibility, because among Bega, the foundations that were laid for them, they were great foundations for us, because in order we're moving forward, we're not moving back. And the political leaders, Abubiko and whoever, and all the other people who were part of the struggle, the different people that were part of the struggle, laid a good foundation for 1994. Then, after 1994, I don't know what happened. Things went down. So,
so what do you think of this whole ANC, which has been in power for so long? What do you think they really got out of those negotiations? Do you think they got exactly what we were supposed to get, or what?
Look, I don't have the facts. 30 seconds left. I don't have the facts. I don't have the facts behind that. But I think that, like I said, we just got the political power, the power to run, to manage, and to put ourselves in the state. But the real power, we know, resides with the companies that are making money, the resources, and all of these things. So,
but I think maybe if you allow it to just maybe take a look after the break,
we'll come back with the discussion, guys.
Yeah.